What's up, everybody? It's Joe Herrera coming to you live, as always, from fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, joined by my guy, Colton Lindsay. Last week, you were in Arizona. Today, you are back up in Utah.
I'm in sunny Utah right now, and not enough snow Utah. That's where we're at.
They're getting a little bit, though, yeah?
It's like everywhere but where I live, which is weird. Like 2 years ago, we had 600 inches. This year, I got like 130 inches. So it's like a major, major difference.
We need a big February, March, and April. Just the snow that hits your mountains is the water that hits my lake. And if we don't get some water, we're all screwed.
Southern Utah is only at like 40% snowpack this year, so it's not doing great.
That's crazy. Well, Trump just sent the army up to Oregon to reroute a bunch of water to California. So maybe we can get a little smidge of that coming down the Colorado River at some point. All right. So Colton, you and I did it live last week. It was very well received. The topic was what on earth happens when my sponsor leaves a company like Real. But while we were talking, you were speaking very passionately about AI, which is something that I think you've done a little bit more homework on. And I think you're convinced, man, there are a significant agent population that's going to see their business demolished through AI, not necessarily because robots are going to come in and start selling houses, but agents are going to learn how to leverage AI, and they're going to be taking business from agents who have no freaking clue what they're doing.
Right.
So let's talk about that. Maybe elaborate a little bit on what you're seeing or what you've studied up on the effect AI is going to have on the real estate agent community.
Well, I think we have to kind of step back, and I was in Phoenix and I rode on Waymo. I don't know if you guys have that in Vegas or not, but it's the autonomous car.
Not yet, but I've seen it down there. Yeah.
Driver, right?
Yep.
And who is that looking to replace? Uber's already working on their own autonomous vehicles. Google is, right? Uber drivers will be replaced in probably 3 to 5 years.
Right.
We would be absolutely insane to think that realtors are not looking to be replaced. And you look at the reports, I think it's somewhere around 50% of agents have not been paid on a deal in the last 6 months or something crazy like that. It's
crazy.
Do you know what will happen with this? Are you familiar with the difference of AI generative and AI agentic, the two difference?
I'm not, no.
So let me break down. AI generative is I can create a video, I can create a picture, I can create an image, I can create copy. That's generative, right? Within 6 months, AI generative, which is a video, will be indistinguishable from an actual video. That's how good the
Dude, it's so close right now. We saw it in the political cycle, right? Where it was like Donald Trump dabbing up Barack Obama and them laughing at Kamala Harris. And it was like, you could make the craziest stuff via video, and you're like, man, it's off a little bit, but only a little. And like, I promise you, my 75-year-old dad watching that video is probably like, holy crap, Donald Trump just dabbed up Barack Obama. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, for him, he's just like, well, I see it with my eyes, so it must be true.
Right. So within 6 months, we won't be able to tell the difference, except for like, wait a second, this doesn't make sense. Like the narrative, right?
Logic.
But
logic will take over. Right.
The quality will be indistinguishable. But AI agentic is where we should really be concerned about as realtors. Within 6 months, you can give a command to an artificial intelligence and it will go off, write up the real estate purchase contract, log into your e-signature account, send it off to your clients for signature, and put it back and file it in your system, all done through artificial intelligence. That's what's called AI agentic, or basically an AI agent. You're already starting to see them built. So I don't believe that AI is going to replace realtors, but people that are talentedly using it will replace realtors. And if you're a great marketer and you know how to be able to tap in to use this AI, you're just going to be able to have more transaction flow for sure.
So what are some of the, because I think about that. I remember years ago, I got in an argument with one of my buddies that was an attorney, and he really pissed me off because I was like, you're an attorney, you write contracts. I'm an attorney, or I'm a real estate agent, I write contracts. And this is like 20 years ago. He's like, bro, you don't write contracts, you fill in blanks. There's such a difference. And it was like, I hated that, but it was just such a true statement, because like the fact of the matter is, I remember there was a time, and I don't remember when you got in the industry. I got in 2001. And like literally, if you didn't have the binder of listings, I was like early MLS, but it was like even websites. In order for a client to understand what was on the market, they had to use a real estate agent. And then all of a sudden there was this moment of panic, like, oh crap, they can just go to a website. They don't need me anymore. So then we as agents found our relevancy in different ways. What are some of the ways in which you think agents are going to need to be demonstrating their relevancy when AI can literally, I can go on my phone and be like, hey, Leo, hey, whatever, create a contract for Colton Lindsay on 123 Main Street. He's offering this much. He's asking for these in concessions. Make sure you give us a 15-day due diligence, blah, 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 blah. Done. Like contract is done. But what are some other ways that agents should be thinking about proving relevancy to clients that cannot be replaced by AI?
I think my hallucination is you have to have influence. It's not like with time, AI is even going to help manage people's emotions, right? Like it can't even be that idea where it's like, oh, I can help manage their emotions throughout the process. If you look at all of your agents today, how many of them truly find their client's house and take it to their client? Probably little to none. Most of them, it's sent through a hot sheet or they find it on their own and then they take it to their agent. That's just how it's transitioned. And so the idea has been, well, what is the value of the agent in the processing of the file? AI is going to make the processing even better. The question is one, do you have influence to move people into where they get to choose your platform to process? And number two is, how well do you manage the flow of the process using AI? If you do it better than everyone else, you have more influence than everyone else, you're going to give a great experience, right? Like customer service is said to be black and white, whereas customer experience is in color, right? Like that's where you have your advantage, is to see in color versus in black and white. If I'm making sense. So let's give an example of, in fact, I was talking with Tamir, he brought this up. Gary V, how much influence does he have over people? Quite a freaking bit. He has a huge audience. Yeah. So what's to stop Gary V from partnering with an AI company that can literally process the entire real estate file, and he gets into the real estate space and then he influences people into that platform, right? He's going to make a lot of money, and the personality, the profile that represents real estate is going to change. So I think a good person to be watching right now would be Ryan Serhan. He just launched his AI assistant where agents can use it to use his AI as their assistant, and he's building into the agentic space, right? So the question you have to ask is, do you have influence in this space? And if you don't, you're going to struggle going forward. How do you get it?
Yeah, for sure. So then the two things agents should really be focused on is A, creating influence. Yes. And then B, learning how to leverage AI. Because again, I think you and I are on the same page. AI is not going to take over your business, but people who have influence and who understand how to leverage AI are going to take your transactions away from you. So what are some of the ways you're doing for yourself and or agents that you're coaching and mentoring on the usage of AI? Where do you suggest people start? Like how do people educate themselves? How do they practice it? How do they get acclimated to this?
So there's some different levels of, and I was just looking at this the other day. I kind of wrote this down because I was in some meetings with a guy named Dan Martell. I think he's a great dude to follow. He's he has a book called Buy Back Your Time, and a lot of it is focused on AI. But at the very least, if you aren't using AI daily right now in your life, then
even for stupid things.
Yes. Right.
Like I saw, because I was telling my wife, I'm like, imagine, because she's like, this AI thing is so stupid, I'm never going to use it. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I was like, sweetheart, imagine you could say, because she gets her shopping list, right? Yeah. Imagine you just copy and paste your shopping list into AI and say, hey, I'm heading to Vaughn's, order these items by aisle so that I can minimize my time spent in the grocery store. And so now AI goes, oh, cool. These are on aisle 3. These are on aisle 5. These are on aisle 12. These are on aisle 18. And now your shopping experience goes from 40 minutes to 10 minutes because it organizes it all for you. And it's like, start using it on stupid things.
Well, and then imagine that as that happens, a freaking autonomous car shows up in your driveway and a little robot pops out and puts it onto your doorsteps, and then your AI walks out on the doorsteps and puts it into your fridge. Like that's coming in the next 3 to 5 years.
Well, that's where I'm at with Tesla robot. Because Elon Musk said he believes more people will own robots than cars moving forward. And Jenny was like, I'm not going to have a robot. I'm throwing my wife under the bus. And I was like, oh no, we are, because I'm a dad and I hate security issues. And I'm like, now imagine when I go to bed, I'm like, all right, Bobby, my robot, I want you walking around the entire perimeter of my property. And if anyone steps on this thing, I want you to say, you're an intruder. The cops are on their way. I'm calling 911 right now. Like, dude, home theft stuff. Like, it's like the world in which we're heading to. I'm like, sweetheart, imagine going to Disneyland and saying, hey, ChatGPT or whoever, we've got 5 hours at Disneyland and 5 hours at California Adventure. Make a list of rides we should be hitting first based on wait times to maximize our ride. You know what I mean? And like, now it's like, okay, cool. Go here and then go to Pirates of the Caribbean. While you're there, hit Big Thunder Mountain. It's like, hey, if the reason we're going on this is because you just said, use it daily. Real estate agents may not understand yet how to use it to benefit their real estate career. But if they can learn to use it to benefit their life, all of a sudden the real estate side of it becomes significantly easier.
So here's the levels. Like if someone's using it monthly, like they're going to be out of business within 6 months. I can promise you that. Like they just will not be able to keep up with what's going on. Maybe 12 months. Weekly, you got a chance. Daily, that's where it's like tools and products. But like I'm at the phase now where me personally in my business, we're using it hourly. Like it's used hourly inside of our organization.
Give me an example of what you're doing.
So here's an example of where we're doing it is we are testing this now where we just went through the top 10 short form videos that we posted online. And we're working with an AI company out of Europe where we can upload, we're creating my avatar, upload the video, have it recreate that video with my likeness and my voice to be very similar because we know that video already catches attention. Or let's say I can go get a video that Sharon did that was really popular, or a video that Jared James, I think I like his account. He does, it's very popular, real estate oriented. We can upload that video and say, recreate this with Colton's AI or Colton's avatar and voice, and then reproduce it all AI and put it up as short form video. That's what we're beginning to test now. We haven't put it out yet, but that's one way we can process content at 1/10 of the time and cost to do that of that we currently produce it, right? That's one way. Another way is we have so much written content. We have first generative AI, my voice, that we are already beginning to use. And we're waiting for some more stuff to be able to optimize to my second level generative, where we can put our content into this process. It turns it into a podcast form and then speaks in my voice. And we can have my team produce my podcast without me even ever shooting a podcast. Like those are the types of things that we're doing as far as on the generative side. What we're doing on language learning model side is that we're now beginning to test when a lead opts in and we have a sequence that we've manually figured out how to follow up with them. We can now have an AI start to follow up with them and set appointments on the calendar for our sales agents. So that's happening in DMs, that's happening in text messages. So you're seeing sales really start to develop that right now in our company. And the reason why
I think about Leo. So I think about Leo, and I know that's a big topic you and I are passionate about because, you know, our brokerage is building its own AI. That I see a lot of people using multi-AI real estate services, and I think that that's great as well. But when you factor in like Leo, which is Real's AI, has visibility around my transactions, my production, the agents I work with, you know, whatever issues are associated with my business. I know that one of the things that's going to come up is in the future, I'm going to be able to say, hey, Leo, Colton Lindsay lives at 123 Main Street. I want him from my voice to get a text message at least every 3 weeks to just let him know what's happening in his neighborhood, sales, things coming on the market, yada, yada. But I want to make sure he doesn't feel like it's coming from AI. So then all of a sudden, Leo from my voice will be like, what's up, bro? Checking in to see how you're doing. I I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but this house went up on the market. It sold for this. I think that that's probably a little bit overpriced. And like all of a sudden it's going to engage with you. And now it's doing my job for me better than I can do it. So like I drive a car that also drives itself. And like we've got our place up in Parowan, Utah. It's 3 hours from Vegas. I get in my car, I put in the destination, I press go, and then I sit there and I talk to my wife, I watch TV, I do whatever I want to do. And somebody will say like, it's crazy you trust that robot with your life. And so I think in business, like, would I trust that robot to communicate with you? And what I will routinely tell people is, I trust that robot more than I trust myself. Now, not being 100% focus me versus 100% focus robot, I trust myself 100%. But when I'm driving, there are times where I'm grabbing my Diet Coke or I'm opening up a granola bar or whatever. You know what doesn't grab Diet Coke and open up granola bars? My self-driving autonomous vehicle. It is focused 100% of the time. Now, when I think about that in the form of texting you like, hey man, these houses just came up, not sure. Like, what do you think of this 123 Main Street? Do you know this guy? Whatever. It doesn't sleep. I get distracted. It doesn't. So I may forget to text you for 3 months. The robot doesn't. And so like, that's where if I'm going to take someone's business away from them, it's not me forcing a text versus them not forcing a text. It's literally like, once I set the robot go, you're going to get a text every 18 days from me. And it's going to be in my verbiage. It's going to be like, and then you're going to respond and it'll respond for me. And like, it's crazy.
It might send a letter in the mail form. It might send them a DM. It might go comment on their Facebook, right? Like, it's going to stay in touch with them, how you program that agent to do it.
More importantly, in your verbiage, you speak a little bit different than I speak. I use the word bro a lot. I use the word like, can you imagine? You know, I could say, hey, send all my text messages using the language of Phil M. Jones and what he teaches and exactly what to say. And all of a sudden it's like, hey, Colton, or like, what's up, bro? Not sure if this is for you, but have you considered blah, blah, blah. And are you open to that? And like, it'll just do that. And then I'm like, hey, now talk like Gary V. And then the next month it's like, and it's just crazy what's going to happen. And this is where agents are going to get destroyed if they don't adapt. And like, I think we are in more of an.
I want to be clear on this, where if how an agent survives and thrives is they have to have their marketing on point to capture attention and capture influence. If you cannot capture influence, you can't ever put them into a system to operate in the first place, right? Like, you have to capture their attention. How is your AI going to work if you don't even have someone to put into it?
Or if you don't put in the work ahead of time to have content for AI to scrape to learn your cadence, the way you speak, like the verbiage you use. And so it's like guys like you and I who've been kicking out content for a long time have, I probably have, 300 YouTube videos or whatever. And so now it's very easy to take a language learning or a visual creation AI bot, say, hey, learn the way I speak, learn my cadence, learn my whatever. And like, but if someone hasn't been creating content, there's nothing for AI to even draw off of.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
Hey guys, go ahead.
Oh, we're done. All right. I was going to say, I think the future of this industry, you have to look at the democratization of it, right? Meaning I've got people that reach out to me from Romania, South Africa, Canada, right? Like, one is, are you partnered with a company that is building the technology that will enhance humans, not take realtors out, but enhance them? And two is, are you working with a company that allows you to monetize these different areas, right? Like, how can I monetize Vegas or Boston or whatever? Anyways, that's probably a whole other conversation.
No, and I think we keep going. I mean, I think you and I just need to pioneer this stuff. Like, I think it's one of these not on my watch type things. Like, guys, if you're in our world, if you know Colton, you know myself, you paid attention to some of the stuff we put out there. We're just going to keep beating this drum, because the last thing we're going to have happen on our watch is for you to have your business destroyed. And so one of the ways.
I was going to say, you said the word pioneer. That is where my company will be within 6 months, that we will be using this not by minute, but by frequency. It will just be a part of our life every day, all the time, nonstop.
And it'd be cool if you had a choice. It'd be cool if it's like, man, do we want to use this or not? Like, I don't know. Like right now, TikTok is like, you have a choice. You don't have to use TikTok. Guys, AI is not, you don't have a choice. Like it is going to be used by skilled individuals that you're like, these freaking kids. Well, guess what? These kids that have been playing Fortnite and Call of Duty and like Roblox and all these other things, their brains have been made to use systems architecture to think this way. Dude, so you're going to have to make this kid. Go ahead.
I want to leave with this. My 7th grader, I absolutely love. She's more like me than my other daughter. She uses AI to create the homework and get the assignment done. Then she uses AI to humanize it so it can pass the AI detection when she submits it online. She's using AI to do her entire homework and bypass the AI that checks it right now.
It's crazy. And like I've got a buddy that I've got a buddy I was talking to yesterday that's in the golf space, and like a big thing happening in golf right now is people are writing these AI bots that are getting them tee times so that humans that are trying to do it just can't compete. And it's like, I've got to retrain my mind to think this way. Like how can I, like the funnest thing to do is think of, and we got to wrap this up, but think of something you want to do. And just like my wife's planning a trip for us to go to Scotland. And I'm like, why haven't we gone into ChatGPT or one of the AI bots yet and said, hey, plan the ideal trip for us. We want to play golf this many times. We want to see as much as possible, and just let it create, and then go tweak this so that like we can hit the Highlands as well, and let it create, and just start using it in your day-to-day life. Because one of the things I did right was I never discouraged my kids from using video games. I think Gary Vee taught me early. He's like, bro, your kid, like, do not discourage your kids from using technology like video games. They're going to need that for the future. And at the time I was like, what is he talking about? No one cares about Fortnite. And now I'm like, dude, my kids understand systems architecture and robotics and AI and what's the right word? Like RPC stuff, like role playing and digital role playing and all that stuff. They understand that world. And as we head into that world, my kids are going to be like, oh, this is sick. I can just do this. And where I think some of the old dogs who were like, get off my lawn, you AI bots, like it's just going to be a tough go. But again, not on our watch. So Colton, let's get back together next week. I think we should just dive deeper, a little bit longer into the AI. I think you had that checklist. I think we definitely need to kick that out to people as far as like, how's it going to affect you if you're using it monthly, weekly, daily, hourly. And so let's circle the wagons again and get back together next week and deliver some more content for the people. Thanks, guys. I hope you're finding value in the content you've been consuming. And my goal is to earn your subscription. So subscribe down below so that you get notified when we drop new content every single week.